inside your bedroom.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know I've been gone for a hot minute, but listen, things were crazy last year and things are different this year. So hopefully I can get the ball rolling on my channel and posting way more often. The goal would be one video a week and then maybe 2 during the summer. We shall see what happens. But yeah, I'm like kneeling on my chair, but thanks for tuning in. Today, I thought it would be great to kind of like keep you guys in the loop of what I was doing last year. I thought I would show some of the books I loved last year. I read a lot. I think I ended up reading 25 books last year, which was a lot. My goal this year is double that. Essentially, I want to read like 40-ish books this year, which is like almost 4 books a month. Has that been going well? Not yet, but I'm hoping during summer I can catch up a lot more because I'll be done with school, and thank goodness. Yeah, to show you guys 5 of my 4.5 to 5-star books I love. So really only 2 of the books I'm going to talk about have 5 stars. The rest range from like a 4.5 to like a 4.775, whatever. I'll put up the score I give them as I show the books. But yeah, so let's just get into the video. That the first one and the most recent book that I've read from last year was The Guest List. This is a book by Lucy Foley, I think. Yeah, by Lucy Foley, and she, I think, is like an Irish an Irish author, and she's written books like The Guest List, The Hunting Party, which is also on this list, and she is an amazing author. I really like her books. They're a little slow to start. Both this one and The Hunting Party are very slow to start, but once you get into it, it's very enjoyable. I don't have this in a physical copy because this was an audiobook I listened to last year, but I'll put a little picture of what it looks like. So basically this is about a group of friends who get together for a wedding, and there's like, it's kind of told throughout different POVs, and there's like kind of 2 timelines of like present and like the day or 2 before. So you're trying to figure out like who's dead and who killed the person, and it's really interesting. I liked it. All the characters were like so interesting. Like there wasn't like any character that was like, this is a waste of pages, like this is so annoying, blah blah blah. Like every single character that we read, like through their POV or that we read about, was so interesting. Like even the ones who were like assholes, who were like evil, awful people, they're all just so interesting. It's just, I don't know, this book is so good. I loved it. I could not like stop listening to it in the car. I just loved it so much. The ending is so like cathartic because like the person and the people you want to kind of be involved in all of this end up being involved in it, so you're like happy. It doesn't end up being like a crappy ending where you're like, all that for someone who like I don't really care about or whatever. Like it's all, I don't know, I love it. I think it's a very good book. The voice actors for it were so interesting, and because I don't really listen to a lot of audiobooks at all, but like the voice acting, like I feel like also made it better because it felt like I was just listening to like a movie. It was just so good. That's all I would say. I was so good. I would get, like I said, I gave this one a 5 stars. It's so interesting, so captivating. I definitely recommend The Guest List. Another 5-star book, and that is The Kind Worth Killing. I might have mentioned this in a past video, but this book I was obsessed with. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I wanted to see this in a movie as soon as possible. Like, this is such a good book. This one is another mystery. I think all these ones, yeah, every single book on this list is a mystery because I love a good mystery. This one is about 2 people who meet accidentally, or by chance, at this like airport bar, and the husband, I think that they're flying from London back to America, and like the guy, he is talking to the girl and is like, yeah, I'm here, like my wife's been cheating on me, blah blah blah, and the lady is like, oh, like she's, you know, the kind worth killing, like I think that we should kill her. And he's like, oh, you're joking. And she's like, no, I'm so serious, we should kill her. And so it's essentially like about their whole plan to like kill the wife because she's been cheating on the husband. But then you learn more about like the main girl, because it's the POV is kind of like through a lot of different people, but you find out a lot through like her POV. You find out you find a lot about like the main character, and there's kind of like a plot twist that happens. There's like a few plot twists that happens, and it's so good. And I just love this. This is a book where it's like you're reading like through the villain's POV, because you think like you're like, okay, all that she really did was cheat on him, like she's really deserved to die. But then like the woman that like is helping plan the murder is so interesting and so captivating that you're like on her side. You're like, yeah, like maybe this woman is the kind worth killing. And like you find out that the main girl, I'm like, it's the same girl and guy, but you find out that the main girl, Lily, she has a past and like a love and thirst for killing bad people. It's so interesting. Like I love it so much. I know, I love it. And this is a book that I highly recommend. I was obsessed with it last year. I think that if you read this, you're gonna love it and be super interested in it. And another 5 stars. This one, All Your Twisted Secrets. This is such a good book. It's such a good YA mystery, and I feel like YA books get a bad rep because that they're usually made for a younger audience. But this is so good. Like, this is a kind of Breakfast Club situation gone wrong. You have a group of teenagers who are invited to this like scholarship dinner, and they get locked in the room and are told that they have like, I think it's like an hour to find someone to kill, or else everyone in the room is gonna die. And it's just so good. Like, you're reading through the POV of just one person. You're reading through the POV of our main character. Her name is Amber. So you're reading through Amber's POV, and you're kind of going back between like the past of everything that's kind of happened in the last like year or so, and also the present and what's happening in the room right now. And like you're finding out like why people would want these people dead, like why they would want them dead, and also who would want them dead. And you just find out so much. And like the ending is so, I have a hate-love relationship with the ending, and that's the reason why it's not a 5 and why it's a 4.75, because the ending, like I love the ending and kind of what happens, but then like there's like a little bit that really irritates me, that like if you wanted a full like recap of all your Twisted Secrets, I can do that. But I think you should read it. I think it's really good. And like I said, like for a YA book, it doesn't feel very young adult. Like a lot of the drama between these friends is very like petty high school drama, but like you get why what ends up happening happens, and like you feel for the person who ends up being like the bad guy or the antagonist. Like you feel for them a lot. And so I loved it. This was such a good book. This is something I would love to see in the movie ASAP. Is Sharp Objects. This is one, again, I was obsessed with. I saw like last fall, maybe. I was seeing TikToks about the show, and the show's pretty old. The show came out like a hot minute ago, but like I was seeing TikToks of the show on Netflix or on TikTok, and I was like, I really need to watch this. This sounds so interesting. I really need to read the book. I'm gonna watch the show. But I was like, I want to read the book before I watch the show. So I read this book, and probably like, it's pretty short, honestly, if you can tell. I read this in maybe like a week and a half, because I really wanted to watch the show. And it's just such a good book. It's so like breaks down the like dynamics of like a toxic mother-daughter like relationship. Like it's so interesting. So in this one, you have our main girl here, Miss Amy Adams, and her name is Camille, and she is a like reporter and this like for this like journalism column or this paper, I think in St. Louis, and she hears about or finds out about these murders of these young girls that are going on in her hometown. So her boss essentially tells her to go back to her hometown to cover the murders, and also maybe to try to fix her relationship with her mom. And so she goes and is trying to like help the detective figure out who the killer is, but also deal with this like toxic dynamic with her mom, but then also like the weird relationship with her sister, like her half sister. It's so good. It's detailed. This book gets fucked up. Like, don't get me wrong. It gets so messy and so horrifying and so dark. But, like, it's so interesting. And I love the plot twist that ends up happening. And you just really feel for like every one of these characters except for like maybe the mom. You feel for like why Camila is the way she is. You feel for why Emma is what she is. You feel and you understand that the pressure of being their mother's daughter is a lot, and like it's just such an interesting dynamic. I liked the show too. The show had some things I really didn't care about. They added like this whole other plot and kind of changed a little bit of the ending, but like for the most part, I really liked the show as well. So I recommend that if you are into like a mystery dark show, that you would read this before you watch the show, I think. So moving on to my 4.5s, we have Gone Girl, written by the same author of Sharp Objects. I think her name is either Gillian Flynn or Gillian Flynn. I'm gonna call it Gillian. But Gillian is a really good author. I love a lot of her stuff. I haven't read the other one, Dark Places, because I've heard that that one's not as good as Gone Girl and Sharp Objects. But these two loved, and I'm really obsessed with these books. Again, Gone Girl, going into this, I have seen the Gone Girl movie like forever ago. And I rewatched it recently with my boyfriend, and so I was like, I really want to read the book. Like, I've heard the book is really good, I really should read it. And so I snagged it, and I got it, and I read it. And this is so good. It's, for those who don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know what Gone Girl is, but for those who don't know, essentially you have Nick and Amy, and Nick is not the best husband at all. He's very, just not a very good husband. It's kind of rude, just doesn't care a lot about his wife at all. And on like their like third or fourth, it might have been like longer than that, I don't remember what anniversary it is, but on their fifth, this is on their fifth. On their fifth anniversary, Nick goes out and comes back and Amy is gone. And so everyone in town thinks at first that Amy was abducted, but then soon they turn against Nick and think that Nick is the one who killed her. And so it's really interesting because you're trying to figure out, like, is Nick the killer? Is something going on? Did someone else kill Amy? And then halfway through, you find out more what's going on. Again, like, if you've seen the movie, if you've heard about the movie, you probably know what ends up happening, but I'm not going to spoil it, just in case if there are people watching that have not read the book or seen the movie. But this is good. I think this is another one that the book and the movie are pretty hand in hand in terms of the adaptation. There's very minor stuff that's cut out of the past. Mainly, I think the biggest thing that's kind of cut out of the past is kind of like Amy's, because like Amy has also like Amy had also been like writing a diary. So you're reading her diary entries throughout the book as well, and you see a lot of her like inner misogyny, like her inner misogyny too. And I feel like that's something that they cut out of the movie. And I feel like in the movie they make Amy more of a victim versus like in the book she's way more dynamic. Like, not really a victim, but I think Amy in the book and the movie is malicious. I mean, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but like Amy in the movie is not perfect, but she's more of like a flawed person. But Amy in the book is way more dynamic, so I feel like the book does her a little bit more justice than the movie does, in my opinion. Same with Nick. I think the same thing. Like, Nick is done a little bit better in the book than in the movie, but Ben Affleck playing him I think is a very good casting. I think that he perfectly encapsulates like Nick's character. And I don't know, I'm kind of talking about the movie, but the book is really good. It's a lot longer than Sharp Objects. I mean, this is running at like 400 pages, just because you're going through like the two POVs. But it's interesting. I liked it. Like I said, 4.5. I think the one thing there was like something I didn't love. I don't know why I had this as a 4.5, because I actually just looked and I had it listed as a 4.75. So actually, this is a 4.75, and I think the thing I didn't like was that sometimes it would drag on, or like repeat some things. But like, I mean, when it's a book this long, some things are gonna get dragged on, some things are gonna be repeated. So those things are kind of annoying. But like, I remember really liking this. Like I said, I liked how more complex and deep Amy's character is in the book versus in the movie. But yeah, I liked it. Gone Girl is a good one for sure. If you love a good mystery and a mystery that you can watch in a movie right after, I would recommend Gone Girl because it's very, very, very faithful to what the book is. So yeah. The Hunting Party, again by Lucy Foley. This is very similar to The Guest List. You have a group of friends who get together on New Year's to kind of stay in this cabin. There's like a snowstorm that happens, and then there's a murder. So very similar to The Guest List, you're reading like different POVs, you're reading kind of like past and present. So you're reading kind of like the lead up to the murder and then kind of like what's happening right after the murder. And you're trying to figure out who's dead and who the killer is. And I like this. This one's so interesting. I think because this is my first Lucy Foley book, I wasn't prepared for like a lot of like the slowness in the beginning. Because like I said, I might have said this earlier, but like these books can be very slow in the beginning to start. Just because it's a lot of characters. I mean, because you have like, let's see, like 7, 8 characters on here that you're trying to like deeply understand. So like the first like few chapters is a little slow, but once you get past that, it's very fast paced, it's very fun, very interesting, and I liked it. It's yeah, I liked it. This is a person that I would read more and more because I really like her writing. I like her characters. I like just a lot of what she's created in this like this little world. I wish that this or The Guest List could be in like a movie because I would watch the shit out of it. It's so good. Yeah, so like I said, this is just a book that's like, it's not, I mean, it's a little short, and like there are some characters who are like you don't really care about, but not some, there's probably like one or maybe one character they don't really care about. And then there's this weird thing where you have like one, like all the characters are told through first person, and you have this one character that's being told through third person, and it's never really explained why. And maybe I just don't understand that. Maybe she explains it in like an interview or something. But that was kind of confusing of like why everyone else is in first person, but this one person was in third person. But yeah, I like it because I feel like the person who ends up being the killer is a person you don't really suspect. And I feel like the person who's killed is probably the person you suspect the most, probably. But no, this is so good. I really encourage people to read these books. Like I think out of all these, if you're trying to get into mystery, you're dabbling your foot into it, I would say probably read either Sharp Objects or read The Kind Worth Killing. These are probably the two that will get you the most invested into mystery first. This one just because of like the characters and the plot is just so gripping and fast paced and just so like interesting that you just want to know what's going to happen next. And this one I think just because, I mean, it's pretty short. Like I said, it's only 250 pages. It moves very fast. It's very entertaining, and like then you can watch the show right after. The other ones are good mystery books as well. I love them. Obviously, they give them very high scores, but they are like either a little bit longer or take a lot to get to the plot. So, but these two I would highly recommend if you're just getting into mysteries. But yeah, so thank you. We kept this under like 30 minutes. So good. Thank you so much for watching. And please let me know down below what were some of your favorite books that you read last year. These are some of my favorites of last year, but also just in general. Like I love these books so much, and I would recommend them to anyone who wants to listen to me. And so thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video, which will be uploaded very, very soon. Okay, bye.
Inside your bedroom, we